Hey everyone, and welcome. I'm so incredibly excited to dive into this explainer of James Clear's work with you today. Because honestly, we're going to dismantle a massive myth right off the bat. We are completely tearing down this idea that you have to make radical, earth-shattering changes to transform your life. Instead, we're going to look at the pure, undeniable science of how our future is truly created by what we do today. We're unpacking the core concepts from Clear's groundbreaking framework on habits. So get ready, because the way you view your everyday routines, it's about to fundamentally shift.
Let me ask you something. Are you waiting for a single defining moment to change your life? If we're being totally honest with ourselves, it is just so ridiculously easy to overestimate the importance of one huge defining moment, right? We think we need to win a championship, lose 50 pounds overnight, or land some million-dollar client to finally feel successful, but at the exact same time, we completely underestimate the value of making small, seemingly insignificant improvements on a daily basis. We just push things off, assuming that big moment is going to fix everything eventually.
Well, let's dive right into this because this idea is the absolute central thesis of our entire explainer. Your future is created by what you do today, not tomorrow. It's a really simple sentence, I know, but man, it packs an absolute punch. Monumental success, it doesn't come from overnight overhauls. No way. It comes from microscopic, daily actions. It literally does not matter how successful or unsuccessful you feel right in this exact moment. What actually matters is whether your current daily habits are putting you on the right trajectory.
You see, improving by just 1% isn't particularly notable. Actually, scratch that. Most of the time, it isn't even noticeable right away. And that is kind of the paradox of making small improvements. Because it doesn't feel like a big deal in the moment, we just tend to dismiss it. But these small habits hold immense power because they provide actual evidence of a new identity. Meaningful change doesn't require radical change. It just requires small changes that prove to you who you are actually becoming.
And if you want hard proof of how powerful that is, just look at the math. 37. That is what happens when you let compounding work for you. Think about it. If you can get just 1% better each day for one full year, you don't just get a little bit better. You end up exactly 37 times better by the time you're done. It's the exact strategy the British cycling team famously used to go from literally a century of mediocrity to absolutely dominating the Olympics. They were just searching for a tiny 1% margin of improvement in everything they did. Now, on the flip side, if you get 1% worse each day for a year, you decline almost all the way down to zero. What starts as a tiny win or a minor setback accumulates into massive change. It is basically the compound interest of self-improvement.
Moving on to Section 1, Systems over Goals, the engine of success. You know, we are all so conditioned to obsess over our goals, but think about it. Goals are really just about the results you want to achieve. They're about winning the game. Systems, on the other hand, are the actual processes that lead to those results. Systems are about continuing to play the game through endless refinement and continuous improvement. So if you're struggling to change your habits right now, I really need you to hear this. The problem isn't you. The problem is your system.
As James Clear puts it, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Just let that sink in for a second. You can have the absolute most ambitious goal in the entire world, but if your daily system is flawed, you're inevitably going to fall back down to whatever your daily habits dictate. You're basically anchoring your future to a flawed present process.
Which brings us to a really uncomfortable but super necessary question. Why do bad habits repeat themselves? Like, why do we do things again and again that we know aren't good for us? Listen, it's not because you don't want to change. It's because you have the wrong system for change. And to fix that system, we have to go down to the absolute deepest layer of behavior change, which is our personal beliefs.
That leads us into Section 2, Identity-based habits.
Every action is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. Just think about that for a second. What you're doing right now is a direct reflection of the type of person you subconsciously or consciously believe you are. So what type of person do you wish to become? Your identity emerges right out of your habits. Every single time you take an action, you are literally casting a vote for that future you. Now, no single instance transforms your beliefs overnight, right? But as those votes build up, the evidence of your new identity becomes completely undeniable.
Changing your core beliefs sounds incredibly daunting, I know, but it actually boils down to just two practical steps. First, decide the type of person you want to be. And second, prove it to yourself with small wins. Notice how this effortlessly shifts our focus right back to the immediate present. It's all about what you are doing today. Because remember, your future is created by the votes you cast today.
Let's transition over to Section 3, the habit feedback loop.
Here's how it actually works in the brain. Every single habit can be divided into 4 really simple steps. First up, there's a cue. That cue triggers a craving. The craving then motivates a response. And finally, that response provides a reward. That reward satisfies the craving, and over time, it becomes neurologically associated with the cue. So cue, craving, response, reward. This is a continuous neurological feedback loop that ultimately allows you to create fully automatic habits.
And that loop brings us directly to Section 4, the 4 laws of behavior change.
This is exactly how you engineer your daily actions. It's basically a cheat sheet. If you want to create a good habit, you follow these 4 laws. Make the cue obvious, make the craving attractive, make the response easy, and make the reward satisfying. But what if you want to break a bad habit? Well, you just invert those laws. Make the cue invisible, make the craving unattractive, make the response difficult, and make the reward completely unsatisfying. This toolkit right here is your ultimate framework for designing your environment and taking control of your day.
Think of breaking a bad habit like trying to uproot a massive, powerful oak tree within us. Those roots are deeply entrenched, right? But building a good habit, that is way more like cultivating a delicate flower, just one day at a time. The seed of every habit is just a single tiny decision. But as you repeat that decision, as you water that delicate flower every single day with your solid systems, it sprouts and it grows stronger. And this is exactly why patience and a serious focus on your daily systems are absolutely required for true progress.
So, the absolutely crucial point we are left with today is this. All big things come from small beginnings. Your future is not shaped by some massive, magical event waiting for you tomorrow. It is shaped entirely by the tiny 1% decisions you make in the present moment. So I want to leave you with this provocative thought. Stop waiting for tomorrow. Take a good look at the systems you have running right now. What is the very first vote you will cast for your future today? Think about it and make it count. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.